The story begins with the hero, Yuga, gathering outside the demon lord's castle with his loyal party. The castle's gates open, and several sinister eyes peek out from within. After the party enters the castle, they are greeted by the demon lord's general, Yoki. The party's mage tries to attack Yoki with an energy blast, but he easily dispels it. Next, the swordsman tries to melee him, but Yoki dodges him attack and sends him back with a kick. Finally, the support mage, Cecilia, uses an enhancement spell on Yuga, who unleashes his ultimate spell, Excalibur, towards Yoki. Yoki overwhelms the hero and defeats the whole party on his own. Yoki starts healing all the defeated heroes. However, he notices that the support mage looks very pretty and ends up distracted by her looks. He brings the heroes to a prison in the castle and tells them to dump the heroes near a human village, painfully saying goodbye to his angelic crush. After a month, the demon lord summons Yoki straight to his room. There, his right-hand man, Zekil, asks Yoki how many times he had to deal with the heroes returning for a challenge. Yoki tells him that they've challenged him 13 times already. Demon Lord suggests letting his subordinates handle the task and eliminate the heroes in his place. So he also doesn't want the pretty support mage to get hurt. He offers to dispose of the heroes by himself. The Demon Lord smiles. Back to his room, he feels worried for the heroes' lives. They are strong enough to kill the Demon Lord. In the end, Yoki wonders what he should do next. The next day, the heroes return to the Demon Lord's castle once more. Anna quietly unleashes a second wave right after, catching him by surprise. Despite this, Yoki still reacts in time to block it, and meanwhile, Yoki notices Cecilia healing her friends, which causes him to blush. Yoki suddenly points to Cecilia and tells the heroes they can continue forward if they leave her behind. Yuga instantly still refuses to abandon their precious teammate. But at that moment, Cecilia speaks up and tells him that she's willing to stay behind. Finally, Yuga and the party move forward. Yoki quickly surrenders and tries to negotiate with her. Cecilia questions why he's bothering to introduce himself when he plans to kill her anyway. He asks him what it is that he wants. Yoki gathers his courage and admits that he fell in love with her at first sight. Admitting that he wants to go out with her, Cecilia is left completely shocked. After giving it some thought, she politely turns down his offer. Her rejection is so crushing that Yoki loses all his will to live. Yoki explains that even if he looks like a demon, he was actually reincarnated from another world. He tells her that he's actually a human inside the body of a demon. She wonders why he hasn't defeated the Demon Lord on his own. Yoki explains that if he defeated the Demon Lord, he would become the next leader of the demons, which would force him to commit terrible atrocities against humankind. Since Yoki felt helpless, he thought that he'd spend the rest of his life miserably rotting away in his tells him that he should keep living and use the power he has to help humanity. She thinks that he can serve another purpose in life and offers to help him move to the outside the world. A few days later, the Kingdom of Clarinus holds a celebration for all their heroes on their victory against the Demon Lord. King Darts congratulates all the heroes before him for protecting their world from a great evil, and outside the kingdom, Yoki watches from a secluded spot. Knowing that Cecilia lives there, to disguise himself as a normal human, Yoki enters the city's adventurers guild to register himself. The lazy receptionist, Clayman, sighs and pulls out the registration form. Clayman gives him a guild card and explains that he'll start at the lowest F rank, which goes up to S rank. Then, he warns Yoki not to lose his card and wishes him good luck. A week later, he enters the guild again, where all the adventurers are discussing a rising adventurer who is ranking up crazy fast. Meanwhile, Yoki asks Clayman for some more commissions and tells him to talk to the pretty lady next to him instead. However, Yoki refuses, saying that he likes spending time with Clayman instead. Clayman asks Yoki about his real identity, knowing that no normal person can go from F to D rank in just a week. Yoki tries to pretend he doesn't know. So, a hooded girl walks in and asks Clayman to cancel Yoki's missions. He then turns to Yoki and invites him to her house for a private chat, as Yoki wonders why a girl invited him home. When they reach Cecilia's house, one of the guards gets suspicious after seeing Yoki coming out of the carriage. He points his spear at Yoki and demands to know why he was with Cecilia, so she steps out and explains that he's her friend. Then, another guard drags his partner away. away, and Cecilia takes Yoki inside for tea. There, she apologizes for not finding him sooner, but Yoki doesn't mind. He wonders how she managed to find him in such a massive city, and she explains that he's become extremely popular in town after climbing all the way to D rank in such a short time. Because Yuga defeated the Demon Lord, the other nations have started a proxy war to take power. She reveals that Yuga is already getting plenty of offers from the rulers, and Yoki feels jealous of the hero. Yoki's power would be misused to take over the world. Yoki understands her fears. Celia offers to hire him herself, but she admits that she doesn't have the money worth his time. She then begs him to accept her offer, but suddenly, Yoki tells her to raise her head. He would never accept it since he only has eyes for Cecilia. This makes her laugh, and Yoki feels embarrassed by his own big words. Soon, Cecilia's mother, Celia, also enters the room. She apologizes to Yoki for her guard's rude behavior, and Celia reveals that her daughter is already getting many engagement offers. Yoki gets shocked since even the hero, Yuga, tried confessing to Cecilia, but she reassures him that she turned him down. Seeing Yoki's flustered reaction, then sits with him and asks if he'd like to marry Cecilia. Shocked, Yoki wonders if she's testing him, but Celia tells him to give her a straight answer. Then, he shakes his head, explaining that he has already been rejected by Cecilia once. Yoki explains that he's currently trying to build a stable life, propose to Cecilia again. Celia asks if he's refusing her generous offer, so Yoki tells her that he'll still respect Cecilia's feelings, testing him to see if he jumped at the chance. Since she wouldn't marry her daughter to just any desperate creep, she approves of Yoki and allows him to visit their house in the future. After he can call her by her first name, and she agrees, calling him by his first name in return. Overjoyed, Yoki cheers loudly, feeling like he is one step closer to the girl he loves. The next day, Yoki tracks down a cicatrice for his quest and effortlessly avoids all of its lasers. As Yoki keeps dodging it, the monster grows even more furious and continues charging towards him. Once it gets close enough, Yoki unleashes a powerful thunderbolt spell that turns the monster bird into a big pile of KFC. After that, he collects every last feather from the bird to finish the quest. Out of nowhere, a Dullahan suddenly shows up, and almost immediately after, a harpy swoops down from above and attacks Yoki. Then, a second boy joins in and also goes after him, prompting Yoki to remind the three attackers that he is actually their former master. Once they realize that the boy is Yoki in disguise, Duke asks why he vanished following the Demon Lord's death. The others share the same question, so Yoki decides to explain the reason he suddenly left them behind. First, he proudly reveals how he confessed his feelings to Cecilia and got rejected without a second thought. Then, none of them wants to abandon their master. Curious to see what kind of girl made him leave his previous post, Yoki firmly refuses to let them come along, reminding the demons that they would also need to endure the trouble of wearing extremely careful disguises. Even so, none of them are discouraged by this warning, and in the end, Yoki agrees to let them join. Afterward, he strips them all of their demonic features. When Cecilia finds out that Yoki stripped the poor harpy of all her feathers, she immediately starts chewing him out for his insensitive action. Yoki also admits his mistake and apologizes, so all the demons enjoy watching him suffer. Then, Cecilia takes them all inside her house to serve tea. There, she feels surprised that all three demons pulled off such natural human disguise. He also tells Cecilia that Yoki is the reason their demon party is so laid back. Back in the Demon Lord's castle, Zekil would always try to force Yoki to work. Unfortunately for him, Yoki always refused to go out of his room, leaving the Demon Lord completely frustrated. At the time, Duke thought it was a good idea to punish Yoki, but he got his head blown off instead. Ever since then, he has been serving Yoki as a true subordinate. Cecilia realizes the respect all the demons hold for him. Suddenly, Yoki realizes that the other two demons are missing. Since they can't afford to let anyone else see them, the group gets up to search for the missing troublemakers. As they walk through the mansion's courtyard, the group finds Seek sleeping on Celia's lap. Yoki apologizes to Celia for any trouble caused by his friend, but she reassures him that it's no trouble. She explains that she had been following Seek around since he was playing alone, but the young boy got tired and fell asleep. Yoki nods, but asks her where Happiness went since she was also with Seek. Hearing this, Celia reveals that Sophia found Happiness and already took her in to train her into a proper mate. Afterward, everyone congratulates Happiness on her new job as they prepare to leave. Celia welcomes the demons to visit her whenever they can, before sneaking up to Yoki. She quickly tells him that Cecilia has a day off coming coming up, so he should take her out on a date. Elated, Yoki instantly agrees to the parent-sanctioned official hangout. The next day, wearing a pretty disguise outfit. As Yoki stares at her in surprise, Cecilia wonders if he's okay. He explains that her glasses really caught him off guard, so she reminds him that she has to remain disguised since the entire city knows her. Then, Cecilia apologizes for putting Yoki through all this, but he shakes his head and promises to make it the best date ever for her. Afterward, both of them explore the city streets together. On their walk, Cecilia notices a cute bakery and makes a mental note to have tea there later. Then, she starts admiring some flowers at a shop, but Yoki inwardly thinks that the flowers can't even compare to her beauty. After they leave the flower shop, Cecilia begins stroking a nearby cat while making cute cat-like sounds, causing Yoki to deliberately look away so he won't give in to the temptation. She assists her in choosing a beautiful red dress. Afterward, Cecilia thanks Yoki for his company since she already feels well rested from her usual stressful days. Surprised, he feels glad that he could help her feel better. Then, he takes her to an accessory shop for a small gift. Nearby, Yuga is also out on a date with Makana in disguise. Spotting Cecilia, he immediately starts calling out to her, but Makana shuts him up to protect their covers. Yuga then walks over to Cecilia, wondering what she's doing outside. He tells her that he's exploring the city with Makana and invites her to join them, leaving Yoki entirely out of the equation. Cecilia tries to explain she's hanging out with Yoki, so Yuga finally agrees to let him come along as well. Then, he drags her over to the accessories shop. While Makana feels upset that her first date got ruined, she asks Yoki if he's also on a date with Cecilia, so he nods. Hearing this, Makana orders Yoki to woo Cecilia so she can finally get Yuga's attention in her place. While Yoki thinks Makana is being considerate of him, she quickly stops that train of thought by calling him an ugly loser. Then, she heads inside the accessory shop. While Yoki wonders if Yuga is still trying to riz Cecilia even though she declined his marriage proposal. Angered by Yuga's shameless advances, he heads inside, determined to protect his beloved. After going in, Yoki asks Cecilia if she'd like a present. She feels bad about burdening him, but Yoki feels like making the date special for her. He shows her the most expensive accessory from the store, which isn't nearly enough to catch her attention. Yuga then removes Cecilia's hat without her permission to make her wear the accessory, which causes everyone in the store to notice her identity. In an instant, a huge crowd gathers all around the hero's party, kicking Yoki to the side like a piece of trash, then getting harassed by a crowd of girls. Realizing it's Raven, the swordsman from Yuga's party, Yoki wonders if he should help him. He suddenly points to a random direction and acts like he saw Hero there, so all of the love-struck girls leave Raven and rush over there instead. Once the girls have left, Yoki drags Raven over to a quiet alley. Since the handsome knight remains silent, Yoki wonders if he doesn't want to talk. He turns around to leave, but Raven finally calls out to him with an embarrassed look. Hearing his soft voice, Yoki wonders if the dashing knight feels shy about speaking with it. Raven nods and asks Yoki if he also thinks his voice isn't manly. However, Yoki refuses to laugh at him, saying that everyone has a part of themselves they don't like. Raven feels surprised that Yoki's so considerate while he turns around to search for Cecilia. For a while of searching, Yoki wonders if Cecilia is okay by herself in the big city. Meanwhile, Cecilia also searches for him, stumbling upon a lost child. After healing the child's injury, Cecilia wonders where his parents are. The little boy starts crying because he lost his mom, but his voice attracts Yoki from nearby. Soon, he shows up but she scolds him for making reckless promises. Watching a grown man get schooled, the little boy starts laughing at Yoki's misery, while Cecilia sneezes in perfectly hot weather. Elsewhere, Yuga keeps trying to find Cecilia. Makana asks him to go home, but Yuga shakes her off and runs away to look for Cecilia. Next day, Yoki learns that Cecilia collapsed on the way home. Celia explains that her daughter caught a horrible cold since she was already tired, but Yuga's stunt caused her to be exhausted from dealing with the crowd. Celia also notes that Yuga kept forcing his way into Cecilia's affairs, so she sent Sophia to dispose of him. While Yoki feels surprised that Sophia can casually toss the hero away, Celia praises him for helping her daughter so much. She allows Yoki Yoki to visit Cecilia in her room, so Sophia takes her there. After she knocks on Cecilia's door, the young girl feels embarrassed since she doesn't want Yoki to see her room, and sits down to speak with her. Yoki thinks it's his fault she got sick since he showed her around so many places. Although Cecilia doesn't mind, she plays along and tells him that he needs to compensate her by taking her out on an even better date next time. Excited, Yoki gets up and starts bragging like he's some kind of hero, watching him yap like an idiot. Cecilia also starts laughing along with his act, which pisses Sophia off. The maid quickly barges in and tosses Yoki away, claiming that he'll worsen Cecilia's condition by making her laugh so much. Heading back home when he notices Raven walking towards Cecilia's mansion. Yoki wonders what's up, so Raven explains he wants to confess to a girl. Raven reveals that this girl is kind enough to compliment his soft voice, so he feels attracted to her. So Yoki reassures him that a tall and handsome man would be fine no matter what. With the confidence boost from Yoki, Raven agrees and heads towards Cecilia's mansion. Watching him walk away, Yoki finally starts wondering which kind girl Raven has feelings for, before realizing that the one he plans to confess to is Cecilia, meaning Yoki may have just gotten another rival in love.